welcome and welcome back, Mythlanders. This is session 35 of Goblin Stone. Over the last few sessions, our heroes have been in a serious fight and several scrapes, and they were separated and came back together. They are up one of the relics of Arabelle and have killed many hobgoblins, rescued many townsfolk, and brought many supplies back to the market square. So we left off last session. We left off last session with the party sort of spreading out into the square and dealing with a few things. A lot of dealing with the goblin captive, but also checking on some of the items that have been made and seeing what else they can make. Debating on whether to use the last bit of Bridget's flame they have here to purify the Staff of Ogma that has been cursed by the goblins so that they can use it for their nefarious ends, or to use that to craft gear for our heroes to move into the stone. We learned through X, as he communed with the matcha, that that the enemy is going to, how would I say it? They're going to keep escalating their attacks on the city, and particularly on the square, which has evaded capture and destruction because of the actions of our characters here. And that the only way to keep them from continuing to escalate that war on the square and on the rest of the city is to bring the fight to them in the stone and distract them there. Last session, Lokag got his massive hammer / glaive. They checked over some of the items they got from the ship's captain and have sort of spread that out amongst the party. Clifford, there were two short swords that he got very early on from one of the merchants when the square was first attacked by goblins. The blacksmith's son, now the blacksmith of the square, wanted to check them out, and after spending a little bit of time with them, was able to rekindle some old magic within them. A short sword of ice and a short sword of fire. The party, got together and talked about who's going to take what and how to arm themselves best. And let's see here. Some insight into the parentage of one of our urchins was gained. And a certain obnoxious noblewoman has been seen trying to consolidate her power in the square, such as it is. But though she seems to know people and seems to have dirt on many other people in the square, so far, no one is really listening to her, although she's only been here a short time. But that's the broad strokes. What did I leave out? What do you all recall? What do you all think is important to share with our viewers? DL, anything important you feel like I left out?
Purification ritual was half successful. I'm not sure which half X is more happy with. Half that succeeded in purging a goblin, or the half that killed him outright. So, and we have been instructed pretty clearly that our next route is back to the Goblin Stone by Vacha.
Yeah. Just one opinion, but a strong opinion, especially from X's perspective. What about you, Pon Pon? Anything you feel like I left out in the recap?
Yes. Let's see. So this woman who's trying to capitalize on chaos, which dibs. Her name, Matron, what is this, Evra?
Mm-hmm.
Evra? Yeah. And she's trying to get dirty deeds on our party. In particular, Helena is very suspicious about what she has to say about her. Feels like she's conspiring against her. That could be Helena's paranoia, but she's probably right. The mystery parentage that Helena is not aware of is that the alchemist, what was his name? I wrote it down. Right? Was it the alchemist? No, the armorer. Sorry, Mildred is Helena's father. So I don't know. Hopefully, she doesn't get her hand cut off or anything. And then we've kind of made ally with Goblin that we took back, and in exchange for food, they're gonna work for us. And Humlump is the one that we interacted with in particular, and he's all right. I like him.
Yes, he's the one made of sterner stuff that survived X's purification ritual. Heck yeah. Big Bri, how about you? Anything left out? Anything you want to share?
Well, since Lokag, and I can speak this week, which is fantastic.
Beautiful.
Since Lokag got his blue steel glamour, he returned the mall to the what's his name? Mildred, and said, and that's when he kind of muscled it out of him that he's going to keep his secret that I guess he might be the only one who knows that he's Helena's father.
Mm-hmm.
So he promised to keep that to himself for now. So be probably, I don't know how good he is at lying. He's not very good at lying. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nick, how about you? Anything we left out you wanted to share?
Yeah, I mean, mostly covered it. It was cool to get that Goblin helping us out. Definitely a servile, built to be servile. I was like, you could be independent. Cliff was just like, you could be your own person. You could get your own life. You don't have to follow anybody. And then immediately it was like, he just didn't understand the concept. I thought it was funny, and that Helena came in there and was like, you follow us now, and it was like, yes. So I think that's great. And he's, it sounds like we'll have somebody who kind of understands how these goblins make their traps, might give us some insights, help us get around them, and make some of our own traps.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Excited about that, and we're all geared up and ready for action, which is nice.
Nice, yeah.
So, yeah.
Pick his brain enough, and you all might end up with advantage on investigation to find traps within the stone.
Sweet.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, Jay Finks, how about you? What did we leave out? Anything that you wanted to remind us of?
Nope.
Okay. All right, good news. So as we come back to it, let me clear out the initiative real quick. Go ahead and highlight your tokens, and let's roll initiative just for roleplay and potential exploration.
Cool.
The square now is bustling. It is not quite over full, but nearly as full as it is on a not very busy day, which is still a lot of people. There's about 45 people in the square, all who owe their survival to you all. The twin sort of chimneys of the forge are churning out smoke. You can hear the chanting of the young druid acolyte who now works in the apothecary's garden, helping them grow herbs and reagents to brew potions with. You can hear some work and chatter coming from Baba Brune's tavern as new kegs are tapped. You have 8 new people who are taking part in weapons training, the dock workers. They're all very familiar with the wharf rats, and Pell, who seems to have kind of unofficially taken command of them, taken some of the weight off of Millie. So on each roof, there is an archer. At each entrance into the square, there are at least 3 guards. And there is food as you all have brought barrels and barrels and barrels full of fine and rare foods. You have a very rare and expensive leather and silks that you all got from the docks that also could be used to make fine and perhaps enchantable clothing. The shimmer silk itself is used to make cloaks of elvenkind, boots of elvenkind, and glamored clothing as well. All right, let's see here. So starting out at the top of the order, now that you have kind of met back together and gone over your gear, Clifford has showed these short swords that have been re-enchanted with fire and ice. And you all are kind of exchanging goods and talking about what to do with the mithril, the fine dwarven steel that you have. And the idea comes up to talk to Mildred and get this suit of half-plate out and bring it over to the smithy with the bars of mithril and see if something better can be made for Millie. So after... give me just a moment. So yeah, of course, Bairden Bell, who is Barden Bell's son, the new blacksmith. Bairden Bell wants to get Millie's measurements, and Mildred is, of course, absolutely fine with it. He just jotted it down so you all can pay him back later. Because he's pretty much insists on even if you had coin, he probably wouldn't take it until later, until the city is saved or the other thing. In which case, it won't matter who took what.
What a reasonable fellow.
Well, he's a smart merchant, and you all can make insight checks. Just go ahead and drop some insight checks for us here, as you all are talking to Mildred and Bairden Bell, and getting an idea of how much you can make with the mithril and the fine steel. Oh, excellent. We got a 21, a 19, a 20. Fantastic. If you all, you all get the sense that Mildred is acting out of some sort of guilt. He seems as if he's trying to make up for something, apologize for something. And each one of you notice that he only looks at Helena when Helena's not looking or when he thinks no one else is looking. But you all, the past 5 days of your life have tuned your senses up into high gear. So you all notice all these small gestures and these little surreptitious glances and this sort of sense of guilt. And you all get the sense that he feels guilty, and that guilt is sort of directed at Helena. And only Lokag has an idea of why.
I want her to kind of like...
Don't.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lokag. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said no, I don't. I don't. What? Why are you looking at me? Okay.
Pon.
Helena kind of like says to the rest of the group, yeah, I could tell we could probably milk him for even lower prices. He feels bad because of how he used to see me and now realizes that I'm a hero, just like everyone else in this town.
Nice.
Is Pon still dressed up all badass with like the new clothes, all cleaned up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Helena looks like she's ready for a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Puffy sleeves. A fine cloak, all trimmed in intricate knotwork. Shimmers in the morning sunlight.
I have one request.
What's that?
For the outfit. That it's a dress, but where they open traditionally, I want her to have like her ranger pants on, and there's no like skirt covering that up. So she's got like her boots and her ranger pants and all her knives and stuff there, and it's just all
Nice.
underneath this fancy dress.
Stained in goblin blood and slime.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But Mildred, thanks you all as he's helping take the armor off the armor stand. and hand over the pieces to you all. And you all might stand around a bit, but it's kind of the dwarf Berdenbell takes Millie's measurements pretty quickly, and since you all seem set on moving back out into the stone again, they put that at the top of the list in front of everything else. He says based on what's there, they should be able to finish it by tomorrow, which would mean just spending another night. He says by noon tomorrow, if they work throughout the evening and drink a lot of tea, that they can get it finished by tomorrow. He says with Bridget's flame, if he uses that first to help, that will really help kind of soften and help him work the mithril. And he's just going to use the mithril to plate the main parts of the half-plate armor. But he says, with that, if you all want, he can sort of use the rest of the white fire from Bridget's flame to enchant those both, if you all like, or you can get him to enchant something else. That would be +1 half-plate and a +1 shield for Millie, or whatever order you all want to do that in.
Yeah, I'd say go for it. Millie's our tank. Tank away, Millie.
Yes, that would be very useful.
Well, we owe everything to you, and it'd be an honor to work such fine metals for such a fine woman. A hero you are. All of you are. I'd make anything I could for any of you. If this is what you want, me and the fellows, Philly and Mixelplick, will get it done. So they sort of scoot off into the back to the forge, laden with armor and bars of steel and mithril. So what does Millie do next? Is there anything she's interested in working on or taking care of, looking into?
Probably not a whole lot, because we still haven't. Correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't got a long rest yet since the battle, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It's probably not a whole lot. Probably just kind of a quick, round of the square, just checking in on Baba Brune, checking in on a few of the apothecary, and maybe the hall, but not really anything too kind of grueling or intense.
Okay, awesome. Well, as you check in with Baba Brune, it seems that he has casks of stronger spirits that are being turned over to the apothecary to make some tinctures. To help them improve healing potions. But the apothecary apparently needs some strong spirits to be able to make a few different types of potions. They don't. I imagine you move over to the apothecary and check with them. They have. Let's see here. They said that they can make potions that'll help you resist fire or ice or poison or necrotic energy, if you all like. If you mentioned you all got some potions of invisibility. She can take 2 of those, some other herbs and some of these spirits, and distill them down into a potion of greater invisibility, which will last 5 rounds. No concentration, but then you'd just have 2 of them instead of the 4 that you have at the moment.
Worth it.
Potentially
Yeah, that might be
pretty
useful.
worth it.
Yeah.
She also
I'll have to
mentions.
consult with the group.
Okay. Well, we also. I don't mention this much, but back in my cadet days, before I was booted out, I did learn how to make some explosives. Nothing that's good for mining. More incendiaries, they used to call them. So if you need some fiery bombs, we can make some. it'll take a good amount of Baba Brune's spirits, and that'll sort of divert that from other things we want to make. But I learned some tricks with him. How to pressurize the liquid so that the area burst is greater, or how to up the heat. I don't have the materials to do both, however. Bairden Bell is busy, but once he's done with your plate, we could potentially make some metal casings and make some pretty potent shrapnel bombs. It's an option.
I think Cliff might know more about that stuff, but I don't know, the resistance of poisons and necrosis might be most beneficial.
Okay. Well, you go on, talk to the others, and just let us know. We'll get to work on it.
We will.
Let's see. By into the night, or early tomorrow, we'll have a few more healing potions. We'll be able to turn over to you.
That would be very beneficial. I do believe we might have used up everything we had when we were at the docks.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yes, we encountered quite a bit of trouble that way.
I did hear some of it, mostly from Lady Evra, but I was able to read between the lines. Sour one, that.
Yes, what do you know of her?
Cousin to a minor noble, rich merchant family. Not really anyone, but thinks she's somebody. Her family's wealthy, or was. But now she's just like the rest of us. But convince her of that. She's one of those, how would I say? A busybody, I think. That's how I'd say. Seems to dig into people's business. Seems that her family were shady merchants. I think they made their money by putting pressure on people instead of making honest deals.
You'd think people who never left their chateaus would be less busybodies. Oh, thank you for everything.
And double back to you. Yeah, come see me when you're ready to put in an order. So after checking around a bit more, most of the people that you rescued weren't too hurt. There were some scrapes and bruises, some, slight exposure from the cold river. There's a few people being in the infirmary that are just sort of resting on one of the cots. There is plenty of food, and you are probably pretty happy to see that Weirmy is whistling. She's got several helpers. Most of the kids in the square have been roped into helping prepare food or clean the kitchens, or even just take a broom to the square. It's almost surreal. Life goes on, no matter what's happening. Even though the city is under siege, this place that you all have done so much to protect and secure, people are actually able to pretend, at least for a moment, that the city is not invaded. There's people singing while they work. There's kids kind of giggling and getting fussed at, for lollygagging while they're supposed to be working. And let's see here. One more thing. Sorry, checking something really quick. The tailor and heraldry master, Tegla, is very interested in the shimmer silk that you all brought back. She kind of sees it being unloaded off a wagon. And Well, I've always wanted to work with it. It's beautiful stuff. I've been trained in how to sew it. I even have the proper thread. Now, I couldn't enchant it, mind you, but I could make something fine and worthy of enchantment. I could easily make 6 cloaks out of it. There's enough. She brought back 4 bolts. And that mer leather that you all brought back could make fine boots, gloves, belts, and even leather armor, which me and Baird Bell could work together and probably make a fine bit of leather armor. There's probably enough for 2 suits of armor, or 5 pairs of boots and gloves. Again, I couldn't magic them in any way, but you all seem to find a way.
Might be nice if we all wear the same uniform, like we're part of a team. Be kind of new for me.
Are you asking for permission to make them?
I'm just offering my services. I didn't know if you had a plan for them.
Never.
None of us got a plan. You're the only one who knows how to do anything with this stuff. So why don't you do your magic and help us out? You'll outfit us and make sure that we all look good in the field. Inspire people. Regalia. It's all about the regalia. Am I right?
I don't know what that word means.
Is Helena here with them?
I mean, y'all are all in the square, so you could easily be in earshot, Yeah.
I think all she hears is the regalia because it was, said with passion, and she just wears out her skirt and says, "It is indeed."
Well, then I should make cloaks for everyone, or boots and gloves?
Anyone does not. I mean, everyone looks good in a cloak, right? I mean, does anyone not want to have a cloak?
I don't think any of us have cloaks,
I'm down.
except maybe Cliff. Can
Yeah,
you
this
wear
whole
2 cloaks,
thing,
Cliff?
this thing's all ratty. No offense.
What Siglet kind of keeps, she nods as other people speak, but she keeps turning her head back to Millie, as if sort of just deferring to Millie. As many people in the square seem to. They listen to all of you guys for sure, but for some reason, it might be the golden skin.
Millie has owned a pair of pants until it grew out, and then stole a pair of pants, and then a shirt, and then had to steal another shirt. It's like, why are these people talking to me about clothing like I know anything about clothing?
Well, I tell you what, everyone can just come in individually and tell me what they'd like, and I'll make them. It'll probably be the cloaks I could make rather easily, but to make it all, it would probably be around 3 days. I don't really have any help, so it's just me working. Although I do have a bit of some gnomish devices that help me with some of the grunt work. So you just send everyone in, and I'll talk to them individually, and I'll take their measurements, and we'll make what suits everyone. If they want a cloak or shirts.
Okay. Maybe we'll send in Locag first, just in case that we have enough material for everyone.
What's wrong with what I'm wearing? I look down at this like semi-new breastplate and really just tattered pants, like a loincloth thing going on, and this burnt rat hat on my head, and I don't see what the problem is.
I don't know either.
Well, I couldn't say that there's a problem exactly. You look fine for a gladiator, but for a hero of the city, now shimmer silk and mer leather would look right proper on you, I think. Look smart. A cloak pinned at the shoulder so it's out of the way of the sword arm. Some fine boots. gloves to help you grip the haft of your excellent blue steel weapon.
All right, but I have a problem with chafing, so it needs to be good material.
Oh, this is the finest. I've been excited to work with it.
It's an anti-chafe.
So yeah, you all feel free to discuss amongst yourself in chat if there's anything in particular that you want. But what might Clifford be doing with his time while you all are resting and recovering?
Yeah, I think Clifford will be spend a lot of time tinkering down in some makeshift tinker workshop in the basement of the forge, if possible, wherever he can find a spot. Spend some time working with our new goblin friend, and just sort of maybe just trying to be a fellow worker there, making bullets and generally just trying to work on whatever equipment they've got. I think he's also interested in hearing from Millie about the possible explosives. So I think he'd probably be focused on like trying to help out there, make sure they've got whatever materials or equipment they need to put together some munitions, bombs and such. I think that would probably be his main focus. I think he's curious.
Let's start with so you go to the smithy to work on some bullets.
Yeah, if you can sort of set up a workshop down there to whatever you can do to, part of what I was talking about last week, I think you already handed him out, but he's got the silencing bullets and he's got some elemental bullets now that he's put together. I just want to sort of build up that shop so that, we can get maybe a system going where we can arm people.
Okay. So if you have blacksmith tools or tinker tools,
Like tinker
that's fine.
Tinker tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead and make a check with those.
All right. I think it's the equivalent of my sleight of hand, so I'll just roll that.
That's fine.
There isn't a tinker tool button.
No, not on D&D Beyond. There's not. So 16. Okay. How long do you spend?
Spend a good part of the afternoon. I imagine he's sort of like one of those sort of more obsessive types, where he's just like in the focus and in the mode. So, the day might go by and he'll just be looking at what he's done, kind of forgetting about everyone else unless interrupted.
Okay. All right. So say you spend, 3 hours or so.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So, as far as the bullets, you're just pressing out just individual bullets, and then you have to take, of course, you're taking sort of like, wax paper and making little packs of blasting powder so that you can ram it down and reload. So yeah, you can get 20 just regular bullets done in that time. For some of that time is kind of setting up, finding the materials, but there is plenty of room, as the smithy is built to have 10 like full-time blacksmiths and their apprentices.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that's
a whole
great.
basement, a whole first floor. Of course, there's an outside smithy.
And the goblin, has some, could be working alongside, working on trap stuff, and make sure they've got the materials they need. We can kind of work alongside each other.
Okay. Okay, excellent.
Build a little camaraderie.
using-
Speak goblin,
Like getting some of the scrap metal and scrap bits of wood. He makes really simple, like single shot arrow traps, and stuff like that.
Cool.
He can make sort of another one he'll make is tangle wires, which are trip wires that will sort of snag around the person's both legs and try to trip them, knock them prone.
Nice. Love it.
So yeah, in that time he makes 2 of each. 2 of the tripping traps and 2 of the simple one-shot arrow traps.
Awesome. He'll share that, if anyone stops by, he'll like explain the progress, and he'll commend him for his now how'd you pull that off, how'd you get the trigger to work, and he'll kind of get all nerded out about how he did it and how he made it work, and he'll want to understand it a little bit. He's not that smart, so he might not completely get it, but he's always fascinated by all the features, so
Humlump is
praise.
it seems pretty excited to be making traps. He gets a feral, sort of unsavory grin as he's working on the traps, and he has a little rhyme that he sings to himself about, shooting someone in the foot, or hamstringing, tripping, bleeding and mangling, trapping and sapping the strength.
Cliff gets it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's what it's for.
And soon, he's sort of bouncing up and down, not like a lot, but just sort of gently sort of bouncing as he works on these traps. So after spending, 3 hours working on that stuff, check in with the apothecary, and I imagine you check in with the rest of the company too to see how you all want to spend the resources.
Yeah, we can all maybe gather together at some point and figure that out.
So how do you all feel about, because I know, Millie mentioned some resistance potions for like necrotic energy. They're already making some antitoxins, which will help you resist poisons as well. So they already make those, but they can make, to help you resist fire and necrotic and acid. And
I think we were thinking necrotic and what was the other one? I don't know, acid's pretty. We get some acid if we're going after those oozes.
True.
They're acidy, so maybe acid and poison if we're picking 2. You're all good with that?
Any thoughts? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they'll start working on some more antitoxins and acid resist potions.
Now, is there a way, just while I'm tinkering, if I have time, to make a kind of launcher for those little bombs that they're making? If the apothecary's working with making alcohol bombs from Baba Brune, some like a grenade launcher or something like that, or like a big slingshot.
Well, so some of that, the easiest thing to do would be to just make a throwing stick with a small cup in it that you can kind of like atlatl, So,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you can spend
That makes
some of
sense.
the evening carving one of those out of wood. That'd be pretty easy.
Sure.
And that'll give you, double the distance of a normal grenade throw.
Cool. One cool trick that you'll notice, just for a little flavor, is that when Cliff's working on molding something or creating a mold, he has mold earth, so he'll take like clay and he'll make the clay like into the bullet shape that he wants, and he'll mold it exactly with a style, and each bullet will ultimately have like a little insignia on it just by kind of putting an embossment. So he's constantly like kind of working with clay and molding it and bending it to assist his tinkering, and then pouring like the various metals in and that kind of thing.
Excellent. Well, then in that case, the 20 bullets that you make are going to do +1 damage.
Oh, really?
You can shoot
All right,
them
flavor.
perfectly. Yeah,
Flavor gives you magic.
it does. It does.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. For me as a dungeon master, the line between flavor and mechanics is blurry. It's foggy.
Yeah, no,
And it moves around
should
and
be.
wiggles. I think so.
Wiggly
Yeah.
bullets.
'Cause
You
you
go like
use
this,
magic
they
to
like
make 'em.
distract you. They're going. They go around corners, like in Wanted. If anyone ever saw that, where they could shoot a bullet and it goes like in a circle.
I saw it, but it has the
Someday.
worst mental health message ever at the end of the It's just awful.
Yeah.
But, okay. So, checking in on the bombs. So, I mean, you have those 3 casks of blasting powder that were left. Making those 20 extra bullets, that only cuts into about 1/3 of one of those casks. Those casks, combined with some of the spirits and some of the reagents that they're growing at the apothecaries could be turned into pretty potent bombs if you all chose to, or you all could save it for more bullets or something else. So just something for you all to think about, make notes about, and we can kind of talk about it here in a bit. Potential for big bombs. But I think now we will move over to Helena and check and see what Helena is doing with the rest of the morning.
So fun of you to ask, because she has a mission today. I want her to go over to her usual little spot that she used to inhabit, and I want her to set up her little makeshift shop. I want her to take some of her pelts that were rejected, I'd like to remind you. And she's going to make a collar where she puts what is it, Humlump? Puts Humlump's name on it. She wants to make it like fancy, so it's like part of the family, but also if we need to put on them, it's a legit thing we can do. So that's what she spends her time doing. I suppose people go by, she's it's like the exact same setup as before, but she's all fancy. A different sense of purpose behind her work now. She stands taller as she does it. So that is what she does.
Okay.
For a time, yeah.
Let's see here.
And of course, she'll deliver it to him too. But I just wasn't sure how much time we were.
Oh no, that's fine. So let's see here. Checking.
Oh, Bobby's over. That's a good idea if there's extra time.
Well, so for Helena, let's see here. Go ahead and make a. We'll just use stealth for the moment, as you work to craft some of this stuff. The collar, or Humlump.
You said stealth?
Well, yeah, which is just a dexterity plus proficiency bonus.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's terrible.
Is it, or is it perfect?
I have no idea.
At 9, excellent. So it might be some of Helena's best work. It might be some of her worst work. You tell me. You don't have any leatherworking skills whatsoever, so.
Well, I mean, being as though it's going on a goblin, I think it's the best thing she's ever made. There's sensibilities, and you have to craft the item to the wearer. You don't want the item to wear the wearer, right?
Right.
The wearer's got to wear the item.
Sure.
So, it's perfect. Just as gruff and slightly dilapidated as Humlump.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So after you work on it for it takes you about 20 minutes to make it. You miss some stitches here and there. The edging and seams aren't perfect, and it's a little big. Once you kind of go up to the smithy, make your way downstairs, you hear Clifford and Humlump talking in Goblin, and you come down into this corner of the workshop that Cliff has taken over. Humlump is making traps, Clifford is making bullets, and they're just sort of bantering back and forth. The Goblin has this evil look on his face as he works on these arrow traps and these little tangle wires.
Oh, Humlump. You look busy. Translate.
You look.
Looks like.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Cliff responds by mentioning how, we're busy at work. Look what he, clever little fella. Look what he did. He's got an arrow trap there, and then watch your step. Don't step on that. And he'll point to one of the tangle traps.
Yes, arrow trap. Very good. Very good. Kill the foot. Smear with poop. Good poison.
I like
Cliff
the
will
way
always translate. He'll just background translate here.
I like the way you think.
Humlum thinks good.
So earlier I forgot to mention. You said there was a bunch of food. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Helena definitely availed some of it and put it in a sack. She puts a small satchel, just goodies in it, and gives it to Humlump.
He sniffs at it suspiciously. He looks at Clifford. Poisoned? He hands it to
Then Helena opens it and eats something in it for herself.
Humlump snatches it back as soon as she puts a bite in her mouth and just starts reaching into it indiscriminately, putting handfuls of food in his mouth.
It's like a mixture of everything too,
And
like
he doesn't care.
cheese and berries.
His eyes just get bigger and bigger and bigger. He looks at Clifford with a look of sort of wonder and amazement. This is best food. Better than food in stone. Better than rat.
Rat.
I wonder if Clifford translates that part.
He'll be somewhat judicious about what he says, perhaps.
You maybe don't mention that the goblins are eating rats, man. Or this one.
Yeah.
Um,
Self-edit.
and then as the goblin is eating, she holds out another thing and says, "I made this for you to wear. It's got your name on it."
This? Points at the stitching. It's written in a different language for him. He just kind of looks at Clifford to confirm, you know. And once Clifford sort of nods. Or
Cliff looks at him and says, like, if you take this, you'll be a free goblin.
Yes. Yes. Humlum will be free. Yes, I take this. Give me. He takes it, tries to figure out how the clasp is done, fiddles with it for a moment, and finally puts it on.
Looks good.
Humlump look good.
Helena claps.
Kind of feels at the tattered fur around his neck. He grins a snaggletooth grin. He hands Helena one of the arrow trap he was working on.
Ah, I see. Well, this will come in handy. She looks at Cliff and smiles like, yeah.
You can keep that one. Take one of each. We'll have a lot of fun with this next time.
This will help me persuade everyone else in town that Helena's just full of ideas.
Well, Humlum is doubly happy, or triply actually. He's safe. He gets to make implements of murder. He's getting fed, and he's getting finery. He's being adorned with finery. So this is a very happy little goblin.
We deliver. Can I say?
So stepping over to Lokag. Oh. I somehow didn't get X on the initiative. That would have been 22. So we'll step over to X. I'm so sorry about that. I just didn't see you on the turn order. My fault. So what is X doing during this time? As Clifford just kind of slips away off into the smithy. Millie is making her rounds. Helena's making something out of rat pelts again.
So X has collected up some materials as we went through this adventure. I got some stuff from Root Eater. I got some stuff from various goblin stashes, like some spices and things that I think could be used for dyes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is X is going to work on giving himself a couple new tattoos. So he'll just find a quiet spot and he will go, because I think X still believes that he needs the tattoos to catalyze his magic. So since he's getting some new spells that he can cast, he needs to work up some new tattoos.
Yeah.
And I'm going to incorporate the loot of my enemies where I can in the designs.
I love it. Heck yeah. anything else that you need to sort of set those dyes and those inks and or brighten the color or anything like that, you can get that from the apothecaries. And of course, to kind of clean the site, you can get strong alcohol from Baba Brune. So yeah, you've got the main suite up in the inn is still you all's whenever you want it. So you can sequester yourself away in one of those rooms up there or somewhere else.
And if X gets included in the conversation about wearing uniforms, he's going to pose the question if everyone also is going to get tattoos. Matching uniforms and also matching tattoos, question mark.
Interesting. What does Lokag think of that?
Oh yeah, Lokag's down for some tattoos. You'd think with the way his Goliath body has all those navy blue lines, he has tattoos, but it's actually just natural demarcations on his skin. But he's like, yeah, I've always wanted. Nobody's ever talked to me about getting tattoos. So, do they hurt?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't like needles.
That swirly thing on your shoulder looks like a seahorse. Maybe you could put a couple eyes on it.
So what does Clifford think about getting a tattoo?
My body is my temple. No, he'd be fine with it. I think he'd be if it helps him, if it looks cool.
All right.
Yeah.
What about Helena?
She never thought in her entire life she would be bestowed with such a serious honor. Of course she will.
Oh, awesome. And what does Millie think about getting a tattoo with the group? Oh, I think Millie has stepped
I think she may have had to step away.
Yeah, I think J-Fink stepped away for a moment. Okay. So, yeah, X, you kind of poll the group and get some information. And step away to sketch out and start planning the tattoos, which will be spell focuses, basically, for these individual new spells that you've gained, imbued by the power of the matcha. So I'm curious if you've thought about what those tattoos look like. What new tattoos is X going to get?
Well, one of them is going to be a blackened tongue.
Blackened
for sure.
tongue.
Yes.
Awesome.
Silence.
Yeah. Nice. Heck yeah.
Yeah. And then one that he's already worked on is he's got a rain cloud, and his healing tattoos come through that rain cloud. So he's adding more to the rain cloud. He gets Prayer of Healing as well as one of his second level spells that he'll generally have. And then I've got the tombstone tattoo that'll do Toll the Dead. Mm-hmm. If you remember, that's like silvery hands that come up and just claw at people.
Yeah.
It's not really a bell like Toll the Dead says, but that same tattoo, he'll be expanding on that, and he'll be able to cast Gentle Repose if I ever need that.
Nice.
I also have Zone of Truth that I can use when I need to, but I don't know what tattoo I'm going to use for that yet. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Heck yeah. Does anybody have any idea of what the group tattoo should be? Pon does.
If anyone says rat, I'm going to be so surprised.
I'm not saying it. That's why I'm just laughing.
It's already in the Discord, in the Twitch chat.
For stealth.
Yeah, Jar Jar already got it.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Millie says beheaded goblin. I like that.
Not bad. Not bad.
I like it if it can be like a cartoon rat, like Mickey Rat or something like.
Ricky Rat. Ricky Rat.
With a little circled trademark in there.
Yeah.
Watch it. This stream will be demonetized.
Copyright.
I think what should happen is that we'll just wait, and I think anybody who wants to get on Discord and drop a picture in our chat of what they want the tattoo to be, and
Love
we'll
it.
consider anybody who wants to contribute an idea.
That's fun.
Nice. All right. Heck yeah. Let's see.
And if it's cool enough, maybe I'll go get it in real life. Hmm?
Oh,
Huh?
wow. Awesome.
That's commitment.
Probably not, but
So what is Jay Fink? If you were, are you back with us? Okay, not just yet. All right.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what does Millie think about getting a tattoo, a group tattoo?
I think she's open to the idea, but curious to just kind of hear what kind of the concept the group kind of thinks about, because we haven't really right. It's like we're talking about like group outfits, group cohesion, stuff like this. It's like we've really talked about it.
Yeah, it's like what unifies the group. What would be a sigil? What single ideal maybe represents the city or represents you all? Yeah, this is totally new. So it's not something we have to like have figured out by this session, but I think this is a cool idea.
Yeah, we don't even have a group name. We're just kind of like, yeah, we're a bunch of people.
Yeah.
The rats people.
Could we project like a rat signal up into the clouds?
I mean, like a rat man.
Oh, man.
Da, da, da.
All right. So what else might X be doing? Do you think that's
that's it.
That's it? Okay. What about
Tattooed man getting more tattooed.
getting more tattooed? All right. What about Lokak? What does he do with the rest of the morning and perhaps the rest of the day?
Well, seeing as he was up first to the tailors, I imagine Lokeg's in there, and it's like trying to get your toddler to put a coat on when it's cold outside. And so, he's just like, he's kind of arguing about the materials and the colors, and he's like looking at this like tattered loincloth thing that he's wearing, and he's just like, it's like, I don't see what the problem is. And he's like looking at the silk. She shows him some silks. He takes out his dagger and slices a big rip in it. He goes, look how easily that cut. This is not proper fighting material. And he's just like, he like ruins a big, like a bolt of fabric for her. Just like, so, but I think they could finally come to some kind of compromise. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as you kind of tear into one of these bolts of fabric, the woman sort of gasps and runs up and kind of snatches it out of your hand, and but also kind of looks embarrassed a split second later, and sort of sets it back on neatly on one of her racks, even though it's you've cut through several layers of it wrapped around the card itself. It's well, ordinarily it's backed with something finer and thicker, but if it's not to your liking, I mean, the shimmer silk is often made for those very handy elven cloaks that kind of help someone hide. But if that's not, doesn't really seem like your wheelhouse or your bailiwick, as they say.
You mean like a cape?
Yes, like a cape. Not so much a cloak, but a cape. Yeah, many of knights have capes hanging off their their armor.
Lokag looks intrigued by this. He's starting to ponder himself in a cape.
Yeah. Something. I mean, it could even be just
Can you get like a
shoulder.
bullfighting cape?
Yeah.
Look, if I'm going to wear pants, I need to have good hardy material. Their goblins are very small. They attack my legs mostly, and so it is. I get stabbed there a lot.
Alright, I see. Well, then perhaps some of the mer leather. We could use a couple of layers thick, do a quilting stitch where it'll be stronger.
Okay. He's like, starting to get into it, so he'll be like, okay.
It's already been dyed a rich green, dark sort of hunter green, and I think with the breastplate and that blued steel hammer, I think that would look rather smart on you.
Okay, but they'll have to see what the group thinks and all of that.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Just, let me just take your measurements then, if you don't mind.
all right. So he stands there, arms up like this. She's okay.
Straining to try to reach. She pulls out a stool, replaces that with a larger stool, and then kind of finally gestures for you to squat down, and then sit down on a bench, which sags underneath your muscular weight. And in between your gesticulations and movements and protestations, she manages to get your measurements. The inseam is probably the trickiest, because for some reason I feel like Lokag is ticklish, but you tell me.
Oh yeah, he's definitely ticklish.
And she's got such a light, gentle touch, so yeah. So this is a better part of an hour before she's got you measured out and has several different ideas for you. So far, it's a pair of pants out of the mer leather, and then a cloak or a cape that hangs off both shoulders attached to your breastplate.
Very nice. Lokag distinctly does not use a changing room. He's just around gladiators all the time. So as soon as she presents the pants, he just drops his loincloth down and starts changing into the pants. And
there's a split second where she's frozen, transfixed by the majesty of Lokag's naked, muscular form. And she finds her eyes sort of wandering down, then she turns bright scarlet and turns around. And then each time you do that again, she has a small apoplectic fit. And her face never quite resumes its pale hue. It's just kind of suffused with just a little bit of scarlet for the rest of the hour that you're there. And then by the time you leave, her bangs are kind of sweat caked to her brow. This older half-elven woman does not know she's not recovered from this trying to just the simple act of trying to get Lokag's measurements and fit him into a couple of things to see how it looks on you or whatever. And she's sort of dazed by the time you leave, because you just undressed yourself like several times in front of this very proper merchant.
Once I have the pants on, I'll be testing them with like a knife, seeing how they score, seeing if it resists getting cut. So he's not gonna yeah, he's not gonna stab himself in the leg or anything, but he's just gonna be running the blade across and checking it out. He's appreciating it.
It's time to retire those anyway. Well, I think you'd already burst the seam with your calves. It's no matter. Anything for the heroes of the square, she says. So soon, my goodness, I am terrible at hitting these ads at the right time. I missed them already. I have to hit them next time. Goodness, sorry about that, everyone. If you missed us, for those But during the breaks, just go ahead and drop in chat, and we will get you back up to speed. But since we are an hour in, I think this is a good spot for a short, like, couple of minute break, couple or 5 minutes. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. I'm going to step away real quick, and I will be back in just a few.
Quite the elaborate tattoo. You think X is up for the job?
It'd take forever.
I want to see that on Lokag's entire back. Just a full back tattoo.
That's what I was saying. I was thinking somewhere like really prominent. I was like, are Lokag gonna get this tattoo on his forehead or
Whole body tattoo. I always think it's funny because it's, I don't know, like universally weird. Just the naming of parties never happens quickly. Rat down your arm nose to the hand. That would be kind of interesting. Scale balancers should be your names. Balancers of the scales. Then everyone would think we're like a party of Dragon War. We enter the club. Nah. No dragons here.
Sorry about the yelling. I kind of get carried away with the emotions, you know? Dance to the beat.
We could all get tattooed a Canadian goose and then everyone would run away from us.
Now it's time for a beer. Raise up a cheer. We're all back here. There's nothing to fear. If there is something you fear, just let me know. I will run straight at it for fun, you know? I am Lokag. I'm about to throw some hands. You'll find Lokag with all of his.
All right. I am back.
We figured it out, DM.
What's that?
The group tattoo is a Canadian goose, the biggest, baddest thing anyone can get. No,
They are pretty fearless, aren't they?
not really.
No.
Sounded right.
A rat holding a gun standing on a scale.
Weighing a pile of feathers. Yes. That is Lokag's back tattoo.
Awesome.
Rat down your arm, nose to the hand. Oh my god. That's glorious. This long, just cascading, swirling tail.
I love it. Oh, these are good ideas. Nice, Valentine.
Oh my god.
Make them mouth the hands.
Perfect.
That's hilarious.
I dig it. No, but I like these. I kind of like these moments in a campaign where it's like, oh yeah, do we have a group symbol? Do we have a group name? Yeah. Again, not that that's something I expect us to have hammered out right now, or ever really. But it's just it's a fun opportunity. I feel like at a table.
I mean, it's always an interesting point, right? Because it's kind of like what binds a player group or character group together.
Yeah, I mean, you all are definitely all very different from each other. You each have one or two things in common, but yeah. So it's like, and sometimes you can find something that's already there between the characters, but sometimes the players have to sort of look at the campaign and look at the events and decide. But yeah. Definitely, I could see each character would have very strong feelings about what the group tattoo would be.
Yeah.
Elena's leaning toward rats. DL, X might be leaning toward scales.
We each have one, right? It could be a little like the like Led Zeppelin, right? They had Zopho, and each band member had a symbol they made. If you're not familiar, I'll share a link.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Led Zeppelin had symbols that represented each band member. I'll put a link in the chat. It's kind of cool.
They were so into Lord of the Rings back in the day. It's
Oh,
so
yeah,
awesome
they
to hear
sing
those
about
references
it.
in their songs. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find those logos. They're pretty rad. They're all on one of the covers of the album.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but I didn't know that
Yeah.
each represented a band member. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was the idea. Like one of them kind of looks like, yeah, here's a link. It looks like a drum kit, There's one that's like concentric. Here, I'm sharing it. I'll give it to you a second.
Okay. No worries.
Before we get back
In
into
the name
action.
of the Zeppelins. No, okay.
It's like they were way ahead of Prince, right? You know why Prince did that, by the way? He did that because he had to get out of a contract.
Right.
He had a contract to do a bunch of stuff as Prince, but he could do whatever the fuck he want as symbol or whatever. Yeah.
That's smart. That's really smart.
Yeah.
He was a clever guy.
Yeah, he was. Genius in every way. But yeah, so we could each have our symbols,
I like that. That's a fun idea.
right? Robert Plant was a feather for some reason.
I'm definitely curious if anyone wants to design anything.
I'm excited about the idea. If the fans come out with something, that'd be pretty rad.
Oh, I mean, they're our Mythlanders out there are coming up with all kinds of ideas.
I'm going to show
all
you
get
something
different
else.
tattoos in the same style, or the same color on the same part of your body. Doesn't have to be the same thing for everybody. And
Yeah,
likewise,
same
if you
kind
all
of
do all
twist.
get cloaks, they can be a different cut, and different style too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So kind of as the dungeon master, these are fine materials that could be enchanted. So if you get this stuff
Right.
made, maybe think about that. Do you want boats of elvenkind? Do you want gloves of thievery, or gauntlets of dexterity or strength, or something like that? And then have the items made here by Tegla, and get some more white fire from the stone, and spend a little time.
I posted, by the way, a logo, a rat logo that's kind of adorable. I just wanted to share that.
I see it.
I
I wish
love it.
Twitch allowed you to show images, but you can only send links in Twitch. But yeah, feel free to drop that link in chat, and So if anybody out
Yeah,
there,
share it with everyone else. I'm not on Twitchy, but yeah, I'm messing around with some rats. So at some point, even offline, if y'all want me to do some AI stuff, if everyone's all right with AI, then I might be able to generate some cool stuff. So I'll spew out some on a channel here, and you can all say what you like. But
checking the message. It looks like we are all back.
cool.
Check something out real quick. All right. Well, we are back. And at the moment, yeah, we are in the market square. We've kind of gone around from character to character. Let's see here. Helena has taken some time to make a fancy rat pelt collar for Humlump, the goblin prisoner turned worker. Maybe they're trying to recruit him or sort of, unbrainwash him.
By
Clifford,
rebrain.
by re-brainwashing him, of course. Clifford told him it now meant he was a free goblin if he wears the collar, which, if you know, you know. Clifford has spent some time making some bullets and talking to the apothecary about making bombs and kind of working with Humlump again, getting him to make a few simple traps. Millie, as per usual, is all over the square. Anywhere you turn, you have a chance of spotting her, whether she's going to check in with Mildred on the supply of short swords, or she's checking with Baba Brune to see if he's got another couple of barrels of strong spirits for the apothecary, or checking in with the apothecary on some of the resistance potions they want to make, checking the amount of food and making sure that the dining hall, in particular Wirami, has received the food, has it stored, and all of that. Lokag has slipped away after polling the group, mentioning tattoos and getting the group talking and throwing ideas of what if they should all get a tattoo, matching tattoos, since they've been through so much together. But after that, X has slipped away to a private space to add to the tattoos on his body. His new spell foci for specific spells. And Lokag has spent a bit of time with Tegla, the tailor and the herald master, on the shimmer silk and the myrrh leather, both of which can be made to make high quality items that could be enchantable. Let's see here. And yeah, currently I'm perhaps it's some hours pass as Clifford makes bullets, and you all are able to come back together and decide, make a few different decisions. Obviously, we know what's going to happen with the mithril that's being worked into some +1 mithril half plate for Millie, as well as a +1 shield. But you have a bunch of fine dwarven steel, and of course the shimmer silk and myrrh leather. The shimmer silk in particular is used to make boots and cloaks of elven kind. But so, as you all, able to get back together, maybe around lunchtime, you all go over to the Mistfield Eatery and get to enjoy some of the fruits of your labors in the form of fine foods, rare spices, and very expensive wine. A couple of bottles reserved for you all, but no sign of any of the whiskey that Lokag has the staved in or punched in half-full barrel that he saved. That he's still pretty drunk off of. Maybe that's why he embarrassed the hell out of Tegla when he disrobed multiple times in front of her. But yeah, so there's the call is given for lunch, and you all are allowed to eat first. Basically, if you all go in anywhere, everybody will step aside and let you all be served first. Whether you're going to apothecary, to Baba Brune's, doesn't matter. Although, given the chaos of things, there's not much actual trade taking place. People are just running errands back and forth as the basic necessities of life are being worked toward every day. Food being prepared, more arrows being made, bandages being wound, and that sort of thing. The only sign of the goblins that you all see are the columns of black sooty smoke from their bonfires the night before. Occasionally, you can hear sort of screeching goblin voices singing or arguing somewhere, but most are asleep. You imagine, except for any watch that they have left on their hovels and ill-gotten homes. But as was pointed out, I believe, you all noticed this and sort of spread it around last session. There are wormlings, young, very, very young dragons that occasionally will appear above the top of the stone and circle around a bit before flying back down and disappearing into the top of the stone. Those of you with really, really good vision, Clifford, X, and Helena, you spot a single figure, some humanoid, maybe a goblin, sort of step out, gesturing as if in command of the wormlings. Soon eating together, with you is Pell, who's on break, the young, short-cut, dark-skinned dock worker, who's now captain of the guard, as well as some of the people that you brought in, of course, are famished and come in to eat as well. As you all are sitting, Pell is speaking with you in his very kind of high-pitched, clipped voice. So, hell of a job you've done. We didn't think you were going to come back. There were some wagers on it, although I tried to tamp that down. I don't think, nothing nice about a dead pool, I don't think. But, and good job, all the food. Cheese, good wine. Not that I'm used to good wine myself, but really, really great job. We're all lucky to have you. So, going to the stone next, I assume? He kind of looks around the table at you all. Word travels fast, he shrugs, shoving a bite of cheese in his mouth. Looking over, scratching Bubby behind the ear as he steps up onto the table to eat pretty freely. And Weirby no longer fusses about it. Well, don't all talk at once. I mean, if you want to keep your plans secret, I understand there's all sorts of magic about.
I'd say whatever you got to help gear us up and contribute to this whole project would greatly appreciate it.
Well, I mean, me and some of the guys and girls, we want to go in that stone. We want to take the fight to the goblins. But I know that the square's got to stay safe too, and wherever you want us, I'm fine with.
How many fellas you got?
Oh, just the wharf rats and then the 8 that you brought. So there were 6 wharf rats originally.
No.
And of course, you've supplemented with some of the guard that you've saved. Evram has sent, is going to send word. He's actually going to send Tar and Wynn to go retrieve the guards that you've met in the guard.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I would insist on that.
Yeah, and that'll be 3 more for you. So, someone else started a key in there for a second, I think. I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yeah, I think we all should just agree on what they will do. I'm all for them staying and protecting the town, and maybe guiding us to the stone at least, but maybe returning rather than coming with us. I don't feel it's safe. and we're going to try to be stealthy and sneaky and stuff. They're pretty sneaky too, but numbers. So, what do y'all think?
Brings up an interesting point. Do you all want anyone to go with you into the stone next time you go? Or just bring good old Tar and Win?
Maybe we bring that lady who complains a lot.
Although she
chokes
would
on his
make a
cheeks.
good distraction,
I
I
was
don't
just-
think that's the right thing to do.
I was looking forward to getting away from her. That's why I've been down in the basement doing all the tinkering. If I could just keep the noise going, I never have to hear her. It's
Well,
only thing
maybe the
keeping me
goblins will
sane.
want to get away from her too, and they'll like run away when she comes around. Like, oh my god, it's that lady again.
Good that they don't know what she's saying yet.
What is our plan? What are we looking for when we go back in?
I think we want to get to the Bridget's flame first, and throw that stick in there and see what it does. Got the big stick, and we're not using it because it's evil. We got to unevil it.
Is our intention to go back in through the sewer? Is our intention to...
That seems
Trying to
like
find
the
the
quickest
path
way,
to the
right?
top.
Wasn't that a fast way? They know we've come that way in the past, so they might have it guarded, but
Well, the goblin told us that there's a bunch of extra hidden archers kind of on overwatch in that area now. So,
in the sewers.
yeah, and if we come back through for that route. I still have the amulet that lets us like pass wall and get through.
Nice.
But I think we do
Nice.
need to get back in the area of the flame because somewhere in that lower area is also where they're trying to corrupt the artifacts. So I
Yeah.
think we stop those rituals and then try to stop whatever ritual is up higher that they're sacrificing people.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm with you. That's the plan. We got bombs, and we got magical weapons. We've got resistance potions. We've got healing potions. We got 2 greater invisibilities. We're pretty geared up with a lot of pretty. This is like that part in a game at the end where you've just got everything you've collected, but you never used the item. So you've got like 378 like healing potions stacked up, and we're getting beefy with the material. The ammo. It's a good feeling, right? Yeah, man,
Well, to be fair, I hadn't heard you all pull the trigger on the bombs or combining the invisibility potions yet.
yeah, definitely was. If I'm being presumptuous, I thought we were down with both of those, and we were going to make bomb slinger sticks or whatever.
All right. Is anybody not cool with that, or want to save the materials for something else?
I'm cool with it.
Seems like the best use of resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, you all have been busy, says Pell. Bombs, invisibility potions. Oh, those goblins don't stand a chance. Well, if we're not going in with you, we'll be rooting for you. And we'll keep everybody safe. Whether you come back or not. Though, I think you'll come back. I don't mean to. Sorry.
Well, I agree. We need to put the staff in the fire, but it also sounds like we're going in to then find a route back to the flame. Which means we are going into many unknowns.
Well, you've been in before, though, yeah? So you know something about what you're going into. Are you going in on the ground level this time, or are you going back through the sewers?
I made up our mind yet
Sounds-
about that. We don't know. Kind of looks at
Yes.
everybody else like, let's not give everything away.
The ground level entry, we'd have to find a different one because we collapsed that whole section.
Yeah.
The pass wall doesn't work on that.
Well, we blew up the corridors. We had stones raining down everywhere, blocking passages. We could
Right.
pass wall and get back in there, but I don't think that's going to be useful to us.
Unless the
now.
rocks have turned into, is it technically dirt now and not stone anymore because it crashed down? Because then he could use mold earth and actually dig through it. But if it's stone, then he wouldn't.
It's still rock, but you
Still
all
rock.
came in on one side, traveled through the stone, and then blew up a corridor someplace else. So you could enter the first place you entered again.
Ah. Can we
Yeah, there
scout
was
that?
that crazy wizard lair that Helena and I were in. There was like a circle and glowing lights. It was a really cool vibe.
That looks amazing. I'm down. I'm down with going that way.
Now you all had surmised through your various avenues of information, particularly Bridget and Amacha, that the goblins were undertaking a vast ritual, that they were using the lifeblood, perhaps even the souls of the city folk to conduct. And that all of the goblin wizards, there was like sort of a pyramid of energy sort of being summoned and raised. So you all assume that that's one of the circles that are key to this overall ritual. And interrupting just one of them would maybe not stop the ritual, but would slow it down. If it relies on this entire network of goblin wizards sending their power upward through the stone.
Oh, I like that.
What about that secret passageway underneath the old guard station? We never did fully commit down that road. It could spit us out a little bit lower, maybe closer to the flame.
Good place to start.
Yes, why didn't we follow that route?
Works for me.
What about our corrupted friends nearby? Palin is still out there.
Yeah. Got some unfinished business.
That mansion is still nearby.
You think we got to hit the mansion before we leave here? Make sure we take care of that insidious worm and whatever they're planning on doing. It does feel like a loose end.
I suppose we leave ourselves open for attack from this side.
Well, begging your pardon to cut in, but it seems that whichever way you go, we're going to have to defend ourselves here in the square, says Pell. Whether you head off to take the fight into the stone and you keep them distracted there, the people at High Heart, they might pull something, or other goblins in the area might, but I don't think they're going to coordinate on their own. But depending on who's over at High Heart, there might be some lesser leadership among the goblins that might be giving orders. So it seems to me, whichever way you go, we'll still have to defend ourselves here at the square. Begging your pardon again. He kind of leans back again.
Yes, there's always going to have to be defense here.
Right, so that's all I'm saying.
But I do believe that Palin is a dangerous individual. There might be more like him that we are not aware of, more individuals who can blend into, well, the rest of us. We are not aware of who are on the side of the goblins.
Is there some way that
Darth underscore
teach
loquitur
us
says,
how to
I'm gonna eat Palin.
how to tell what's what? You said there was a certain stench. You said the bard's her arm was, well, we saw it when she was carried out.
The X being the prime sniffer of evil.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what do you say, X? You think there's anything you could tell us about how to spot those that been magicked up by goblins?
Boy, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Is there something X should know?
Well, the main thing that you've noticed is there's a certain smell, but you got to get pretty close to them.
Yeah. It's like milk, spoiled milk.
Somewhat, yeah. Hot metal and spoiled milk. Get better noses. Right, JP.
Okay, I'll share that, but I don't know how they're gonna sniff people. If you're
Use your third nostril.
okay, here's something that's true. Apparently, if you're seasick, they recommend the sailors to sniff somebody else their scalp, and supposedly it gets rid of seasickness. I don't know. Maybe that's just an urban legend, but yeah, that's legit. So maybe these people know that, and I'll pass that along as a clue. If they suspect somebody sniffed their scalp, see if it smells like spoiled milk and iron.
I don't. I mean, some of those posted up for watch might think it kind of strange, but whatever we've got to do to suss out the enemy, I mean, they'll do it.
It is strange, but you won't do it to everyone. You'd only do it to someone you strongly suspect.
I think we might do it to anybody who's new. Anyone else comes wandering in, and you all aren't here to suss it out for us. Then why wouldn't we? I mean,
Just tell them you're checking for lice. You know, it's part of the whole procedure. They did that to me when I was just getting started. Shaved my damn head and my mustache too.
that's
Cool,
why we
I'll tell
keep
you.
ours so short down at the docks.
Yeah. Better than throwing tar in it, right?
Right. But if they've survived everything,
You could make
Go ahead.
you could make them bathe, and then maybe the water will stink.
Well, we might want to suss them out before they come into the square, but yeah, that's not a bad idea. But I figure if anyone's coming in from the square, they've seen enough weird shite in the past few days that they're probably not going to be toe bugged out by us sniffing their scalps.
Yeah. It's a small thing to ask.
True. Just another weird thing. But, well, I just sort of throwing that out, and if that helps you decide what you're going to do, then he kind of, again, leans back. Curious if Helena has anything to add to this discussion, whether going toward the manor infested with spies and potentially goblins, or heading back to the stone, to Bridget's flame, or the temple. I think you are muted, Pon Pon.
Dang it. She does, in fact. And I've been waiting for the right time to interject. The fruits of befriending one of the goblins, and she pulls out the trap and says, I think something like this might come in handy, if not to use to understand what against us. Probably both.
Hi, that's not a bad idea. Well, throwing some of these up around the square, the alleys to and fro might not be a bad idea either. We could certainly run this by any of our crews who were going to be out foraging or looking for other survivors. Or if you decide to send any of us to the manor. He kind of looks away when he says that, as if, you all can tell that, Pel's young, he's hot-blooded. He's honored to be honored by you all and put in an important position. But you can tell he wants more action. He wants to be out doing stuff. And so he's suggesting, without fully saying it, that he would offer to take some people from here to the manor and at least explore, find out some information, and if they think they can, to try to clear it out. From what you all saw, the dead shot that Palin was, very light on his feet, very, very slippery, very sneaky, and just really good shot. He laid those arrows right into people's eyeballs from 120 feet away over and over again. And he would be a pretty dangerous foe. But
I don't think Millie is
go ahead.
encouraging to send people who aren't like extremely ready and extremely well prepared to go after what she's seen as some individuals who are clearly quite dangerous. Like the bard individual kind of got one up on them, nearly took out her and X. Palin's sharpshooting abilities were nothing to scoff at, and who knows who else is in there. So yeah, it's like you just send kind of semi-skilled guards doesn't sound like a good idea.
Fair.
Sounds kind of like sending them to their deaths.
Fair.
It's
Fair.
like-
Absolutely.
So she's not going to voice that suggestion.
Yeah.
Is all
yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. He's sort of offering it with a hopeful kind of tone of voice. And, not that your character would look at it this way, but you suspect he's second or maybe close to third level, if not third level, fighter, maybe rogue in there somewhere. The others, mostly level 1 fighters, maybe a couple of level 2s in there. But Evram and some of the other guards have quite a bit more experience, particularly with heavy armor and urban combat. So is there anything else? I'm just going to go through, starting here. So Helena, is there anything else that Helena would bring up for the group while y'all are eating? And of course, Bubby is moving around from probably between you and Lokag's plate.
I think she'd ask if anyone needs any good cheeses.
Well, I am sure that the characters would all, be happy for you to re-up their good cheeses.
Oh yeah, I always appreciate a fine chaise.
Oh yes, I am fresh out.
That makes 10 at a time, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll give everybody... I'll give everybody 2, and then hold on to the last 2.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice. So likely just taking some of the fine cheese. And so yeah, I guess I never really asked. Is this cheese that, you summon? How does it appear? If you have an idea for what that spell looks like when you cast it.
I don't know. It's funny to think about her stealing the cheese and then like praying over it, like blessing it or something. But appearing cheese is also pretty funny because she's not very magical other than that,
Yeah.
But she can make cheese appear.
What if it's just like she's always got cheese in one of her pockets,
Yeah, there's
Right.
no explanation. I actually prefer that. Like, it's just this endless pocket of cheese. You don't know where it comes from or why it does what it does, but it does.
Yeah, sometimes it's just empty. It just doesn't
And
know
it's
why.
solid, man. I mean, it's good cheese. It's like really tasty.
Yeah, yeah. You probably stole like a quarter of a wheel of really expensive cheese at some point and secreted it around your person. And it's just continued to age, you know?
But it's better.
Yeah.
Better with age.
Yeah. Saltier.
We could get a bunch of wheels in a cellar at one point. You know, there's plenty of room for us to set up a nice cheese cellar and really get some 3-year-old blue cheeses going.
Yeah.
What about Lokak? Is there anything else that you would bring up during lunch? Or, you know, or anything else? What else are you doing during lunch?
No, Lokak's just stuffing his face, listening. He's like, when are we going back to kill goblins? Like, I'm ready to go. He's just ready to. He wants to put his new glamour through the paces. You know, it hasn't left his side since he got it. He's eating with it in his arm. So he's using the blade to cut food. So it's just really awkward.
Where he has the duck underneath it each time she just walks by.
Yeah.
But they pretty much put up with anything out of you guys, so she doesn't say anything. She just kind of, you know, chuckles to herself. Ducks underneath the fifth.
Oh, and does he have his new pants yet, or are those being worked on?
No, she said it'll take a couple of days for her to make all of your clothes.
Okay.
So you might not have them by the time you go back into the stone. Unless anyone
We'll need 'em
has
for the
tailor
parade.
skills or anything like that.
No.
In 3 days, when we save the town and everyone's free, then we'll have a parade and we'll wear the cool outfits. It'll be like the Mario Kart ending, you know, where you get to be first place.
Nice. All right, what about Millie? Is there anything else that she would bring up during the meal, or ask about?
I don't think so. Not during the meal.
Okay. And X, how about you?
X doesn't eat much. He's probably not even there. He's just off doing his thing.
Okay. Off continuing to do some work on his tattoos, perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about Clifford? Is there anything else that you do or bring up during lunch?
Oh, I think he'll just really enjoy his lunch. He'll enjoy spending time with his comrades and talking about fine cheeses and just taking in the scene. I think he'll try to enjoy the moment while he has it, because he'll probably be dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
Something he tells himself every night whenever he eats a fine dinner. He tells himself he'll probably be dead tomorrow.
Here today. Here you are. And the Misfeld Dinery is, I mean, it's full of people. There's not, you know, it's full of sounds of conversation. Some, you know, a bunch of the kids have been roped into helping work or just kind of serve and clean the tables off and such. So there's young ones scampering around. There's some sort of low laughter. You know, there's not a boisterous atmosphere necessarily. It's still tense. It has more in common with a military canteen or cantina, you know, than a normal pub in Cliff's experience. This is just like, you know, you had a bounty where you were not on a war front, but at a point where there's sort of frontier and it's pretty wild and there's lots of battles and such.
Behind the front lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Triage and all of that. Lots of screaming.
Yeah.
But the screaming now is just children at this point.
Yeah. And most of the humor, gallows humor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he takes it all in. He's just going to really just enjoy this image and remind himself what we're fighting for, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as you know, inevitably, conversation picks back up around the stone, around these the magic sigil that you found in that that goblin wizard's lair. The traps that you found. The bottom of the square, that swampy area, the strange island where you suspect Aga the hag is, creating or recreating her demesnes. The Tower of Ogma, which has the bright white flame of Bridget within, that can potentially help you enchant items, can potentially imbue you or purify you in certain ways, and perhaps give strange abilities or change your appearance. That can also cleanse the Staff of Ogma. And the goblin, the shrine that's just above that swampy and sewage water, where you know they are working with the rest of the relics of Arabelle. Thinking over different ways in, as you all discuss the hatch beneath the guard tower. Now, after talking to Millie and Helena, quickly X that plan out, as it's not going to save you any time, and there'll be some deep travel. Basically, it's through these sort of kinks and turns in the labyrinthine section of the sewers, an area that's likely you're going to deal with slimes and giant rats, but is also rumored to have were-rats beneath. And if you all are trying to get to the stone with your resources and flesh intact, it might be best to use one of your old tried and true routes, either going overland or going underground again. And of course, if you do go underground, you can travel overland to a certain point, and you all know, Millie and Helena know the city well enough that there's several access points into the sewers that you all can pick.
Helena sighs. It's not time to make friends with air rats, so we can't go this way.
Friends? Says Pell, choking on his ale. The hell do you mean friends?
I'm friends with the little ones. What did you think I was working up to?
But, Helena, but they're were-rats. They're lycanthropes. They eat people. Don't they?
Hey. We don't judge what people need to eat to survive here. Okay?
We do if they're people. He squeaks.
Well, what if... Anyway, that's a semantics conversation. Not willing to do at the moment.
He just kind of flabbergasted looks at Helena. Well, I mean, if you
Rat
could...
eat rat world out there.
That it is. Well, I suppose, Helena, if anyone could make friends with the were-rats, it'd be you.
Why, thank you. Anyway. They'll rip us to shreds. We don't have time. So, we don't want...
Nor enough silver, I suspect.
We don't want to hurt them. Jeez.
Alright, so... he just kind of mouths the words after you said it. Don't want to hurt them. Kind of shakes his head, takes another sip of ale.
Well, he just shrugs. I do think we go into the overland route and find a way down. Perhaps we take out a wizard that you and Lokek found along the way. Stop this. Well, slow down whatever ritual this is they're casting. What is that old phrase people of birds tend to use?
Can't say I know that one. Says Pell.
Flew the coop?
Yes.
I have heard that.
Yeah, damn chickens. Take forever trying to herd them getting back in their cages. You want eggs the next day, you're going to have to do some hunting. But you don't want to hurt them, because then they don't make eggs no more. It's very complicated, taking care of eggs and chickens. Oh, I could go on. Once I had a rooster. I'll just keep talking.
Pell seems, just drinking in any bit of wisdom from the old bounty hunter Clifford. But soon
No, he was a chicken keeper.
Are there any jobs you haven't had, Clifford?
Yeah, it's our job to do all the jobs, you see. It's the only way to be. If there's a job to do, you do it. Pretty simple, ain't it?
Yeah. I suppose if I break it down the different works I've done, they'd all be different jobs. I've done dozens of jobs.
Right? Yeah, so most of the jobs we have, we don't get paid for. Hey, by the way, no one's paying me for all this. I almost get killed every day, and I don't get nothing. You see me complaining? No, you don't.
Hey.
It is kind of amusing. Every other time before this, trying to do anything, it was get run out, get run off. And now it's get asked about cloaks. It's very confusing.
Yeah, there's some people that want to make some real nice material for us. We're going to be all gussied up and fancy soon. You'll see. You look at us now, you wouldn't think, but they got them fancy silks and that, what was that, sea leather? Green tinted. We'll blend in the trees. They'll never see us coming. They have trees anywhere around here?
There's no trees
a tree in a while.
The green ward. What about that swampy water down in the bottom of the stone you all talked about? Might blend you in pretty well down there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what color that was. There were so many colors going on, it was hard to focus on one. And then there were the blobs of weird slime, and that was all shiny and glistening and coming right at you.
You don't want to fall into those, I'm pretty sure.
No.
You don't want to fall into that.
Might be nice if we had a slime lantern, you shine it and it shows you where the slimes are, something like that.
Well, you're the crafter, and you've got a new crafting companion of sorts.
Yeah, they were scary. We were dropped in the water there. I swear I saw some bodies in that water. Yeah, I'm just remembering when I fell in the water, when we were down in there, remember Lokag, when we were running away? We finally found that ledge, and we barely survived, and we were getting chased by the hobgoblins, and everyone was looking for us, and then the damn slime came.
Yeah, that part is kind of fuzzy. I lost consciousness 2 or 3 times. That's not good for your brain.
Yeah. Sorry there, buddy. I was trying to take care of you, but, well, we made it now, didn't we?
Just the two of you? A bunch of hobgoblins? You got knocked out 3 times in the fight? What in the hell? Where were the rest of you?
We got separated. It was complicated.
Yeah.
It happens.
Wow. You all are tougher than I thought. Good thing, too. Because you're going to be going back into the stone tomorrow, I'm guessing, yeah? Once Millie gets her new armor?
Yeah.
We sleep. We still haven't slept after that battle at the docks.
Oh, yeah, you should do that.
Right.
We'll keep you safe
Been a
while
long
you
day.
sleep. It's actually pretty good for morale that I've noticed when you all take a load off when you're in town. Obviously, everyone looks to you to be saying what's what, but honestly, just folks seeing you just sit here and banter a bit and have a meal and laugh, it's good for morale, he says and leans back again, kind of looking around at folks.
Good to hear, Pell.
Now you've certainly come up in the world, he says, looking at your golden skin, your flaming blade. And Helena, the new duds. I like the new rags.
They are quite wonderful, aren't they?
They are.
It's to commemorate my ascension through society.
Queen of the rats, queen of the streets.
That is correct. Thank you for recognizing what is true.
Everybody knows it. Some just afraid to admit it.
You are correct. I like this
I
one.
know it. Mama only raised one fool, and it wasn't me. So, Helena, you can sniff out the slimes, from what I hear.
It's not something I enjoy doing, but very.
That's handy. You know, I'm thinking if we all make it through this, which I'm certain at least you all will make it through this, we're all going to come up in the world a bit. We'll be a mite more important, I think, than we were, seeing as everything that we've done, self-sacrifice and all that. Might be good to think about where we want to be, where you want to be. All right. So as you all kind of, Pell leaves you with that, kind of drops that thought and leans back and sort of just looks over at you, nodding and sipping on his ale. Let's go ahead and take a short, like a 5-minute break and come back to it.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, heck yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oh,
Bye.
I'm gonna drop my camera, but I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave the rest of our cameras up for anybody who wants to stay and hang out for a moment. Oh no. All right, I'll be back in just a few.
What do you think? DL, how should we re-enter the stone?
Before this session, I would say definitely go back to the flame, go back that route. And I mean, we know that there's going to be some traps, and maybe we could figure out a way to shield ourselves from that kind of nonsense, something like that. But then after talking it through tonight, if that other section gives us the opportunity to disrupt the ritual, maybe we just go in through there and then find our way to the flame after that.
Yeah, I kind of like that opportunity of being able to disrupt, slow things down a little if we can. I don't think we know a whole lot about what the ritual's achieving, but it'd be nice to slow it down if we could.
We do know that. We know that now.
Okay.
Yeah, Matcha told X directly that they're trying to summon their deity.
That's right. Yeah, we might want to slow that down a little bit. Sounds like a good thing to slow down at least.
Yeah, we don't want some crazy old one-eyed goblin god invading Arabelle.
Sounds like a good thing not to do.
So yeah, the artifacts, he said, are lower down, kind of in the sort of the area that we were in where the flame is, kind of on that level. And then some of the purification or the sacrifice rituals are taking place kind of mid-tier up toward the top. He did suggest that we could climb there. I believe that came up. So
Yeah.
probably we should be specific about getting climbing gear set up during this trip to town.
think I might have some. Nope, different character. Yeah, climbing gear would be useful. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm trying to think like what's the most useful things we can even get to take in there, but it's so varied as to what we keep finding, and we just don't know what we keep finding in there. So we just haven't had a lot of chance to explore the different sections, especially with these characters, right? We've seen a little bit of it with the others. But yes, let's go interrogate a hag. So all
I
kinds of things.
kind of think we either have to stay away from her or fight her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Cliff would be like pretty eager to recover Phidias's, like, she has his body and all his stuff. So there's definitely like a drive to try to get to her and get what she took. And I agree, we're probably gonna have to kill her to get it. But she knows some shit, so maybe we learn everything we can from her and then kill her.
That's so dangerous. That's
Oh, what was it? I missed it. I just got back in. Unless you want to hide it from me and surprise me later, that's fine too.
trying to use the hag to our benefit.
Oh, please do. Please try to do that. That'd be awesome.
That has more likelihood to backfire on us than go right.
All the better.
In so many ways.
Yeah. We can come in all well-meaning, like we want to make like arrangements, and then she'll turn on us in some horrible way, and then we'll have to fight her, and it won't be our fault.
In a normal campaign, I'm all for this kind of nonsense. In a time-bound campaign where messing with the hag could lose us 2 or 3 days, that could be the difference between.
I don't think that's our
losing.
next step. I think that's later in the whole priority. I like the idea of getting to the forge or the light and stopping the ritual. Those are both priority, right?
Well, full disclosure here. Messing, like, if you went to, say, make a deal with the hag, that would be like a scene, a conversation, but is likely to have repercussions, and most importantly, it's likely to have sort of repercussions for, like, the end story of this campaign and like the world beyond and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. Might be a good person to be on good terms with then.
Yeah, depending on how you want to deal with her. You know,
Wow.
if you don't deal with her at all, well, she's going to survive all of this, and she's going to go off and hags be hags and try to find their coven and make everybody miserable.
I remember she had some sisters that she wanted to be reunited with, or
She
seemed to
does.
be sad they were
Desperate.
split apart.
Mhm.
So reuniting them might get them out of here.
Might actually meeting the others and specifically reuniting them would probably be beyond the scope of this campaign. But if you were going to try to help her to get out of here, that's something that you could do for sure.
Yeah, it's the first step.
Why? No, just no. We're not going to help an evil character out into the world to do evil all over everybody.
Right, I'll stop.
No.
You're right. We already
X is
see the
zero
prequel.
interest.
See the prequel, people. See the prequels.
Cliff is lawful neutral, so
We already did this once. See the prequel.
no, I mean, ideally, we get all her stuff and she's out of the picture. But she knows stuff, so maybe just do a little pot.
She does.
Steal or something.
Any encounter with a hag, whether you make a deal with them or you kill them, you stand a pretty good chance of learning something either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and potentially find loots and things like that in the.
Right.
Oh, that's the wrong thing. Fix this. So, yeah.
And to honor the fallen heroes.
Absolutely.
Isn't the Chosen One? Didn't she grab the Chosen One at one point, or is it still in the water? I wonder.
The Chosen One, you saw his body once.
Yeah.
And when you came back through, it was gone, and you have not seen it. So you all presume that the various oozes and slimes,
Consume
consumed the chosen one.
Aw.
He was chosen to become ooze food.
Yes.
Right.
Chosen for dinner.
Yeah. You will see him again, but you probably won't recognize him.
Right. He'll be made of Jello pudding. He'll be a humanoid, like Jello man.
Who knows? Maybe you can do him in slime form.
The ooze folk? Can he become a slime folk or whatever they are?
Yeah.
Oozekin?
Right, did.
Who's
Yeah,
kid?
well,
Oozekin. Yeah.
I'm sure he could.
Well-
I'd like to see what you all would do to make that happen. Perhaps get the apothecaries, steal something from the hag's den, mix them together, and find the right ooze and pour it on them.
The
That's
first
gonna happen.
oozekin of his kind.
This is canon now.
So, is that one of the new party goals? Revive the chosen one however you can.
Yeah.
The first oozekin of Arabelle.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Done it, folks.
We could have like a side adventure, side quest with the Oozekin, and I'll be play Ooze versions of all our characters.
Well, we have talked about sort of a time where we're missing down a couple of players. I've been cooking up a little one-offs where you could potentially play some of the goblins within the stone, particularly at the rank and file. Maybe
Fun.
even be part of the group that would attack the square.
Oh, neat. That'd be
Yeah.
a good way to flip it.
Yeah, and you
Love
know,
it.
you probably, yeah, I think that could be pretty fun, and it'd be a broader way
I
to
dig it.
tell some of the story of the events around this invasion. Could be pretty fun.
Love it.
So as you all, sit around for a good while, enjoying your meal and banter and shoot down some ideas, and talk about some other ones. Talk about tattoos again, and talk about your entrance into the stone, whether to engage the hag or avoid her, which target to go for first. The mystic circles that the goblin wizards run their sacrifices through, or go down to the bottom first and make it to the Flame of Bridget first. It seems like Millie and X are leaning toward going, maybe slipping underground for a bit, but coming out on the ground and going in to the stone on the ground floor, making it back to one of these goblin wizards' laboratories, and try and disrupt one of these sigils, and therefore disrupt the great ritual happening within. That X informs you that the Matcha informed him was an attempt to summon their deity to this world. And anything that can be done to slow that down would... though you've likely slowed it down somewhat by killing a lot of goblins, by rescuing people and keeping them out of goblin clutches, they will not be sacrificed. No longer meat for the masters. So with, Millie and X sort of suggesting that you all go in on the ground floor, first hit one of those magic circles, try to disrupt it, and then work your way downward. The idea that maybe you should get climbing gear in town so that you can traverse the negative space inside the stone itself. As Matcha also told X that the inside of the stone is basically hollow. And with the right gear,
Like
you
a
might-
bird bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, Lokag knows things. He's broken open bird bones.
Regular scientist. But yeah, what does Helena think about this idea, hitting the magic sigils on the ground floor first, and then trying to go downstairs?
She's definitely a fan for it, or a fan of it. It's the more we play, the more I start to think about her being like the game Mousetrap, so the little things we can set up or employ without direct contact, the better.
Nice. All right. What does Lokag think about that? Or does he have a preference at all?
Look, as long as I get to kill goblins, I'm good. Look, I think that we can mess these magic circles up. I just take this beautiful weapon, flourishing his glamour once again, and just smash a couple things, and it should be broken, right? I mean, that's how it works. You break the physical stuff, and then the magic frou-frou things go away. Right, X? Tell me I'm right.
Exactly correct.
See? There it is. This is why I am the party arcanist. I know all of the magic things.
Nice. What does Clifford think about this plan?
Works for me. Fine with it. Just go along for the ride. Just don't do anything stupid, all right?
Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like you all have, the most important bits of your plan sort of laid out. Rest the night, get the rest of your gear from Baird and Bell. Equip yourselves and head out. It'll be like the blacksmith said. Should be finished at noon with that plate and shield for Millie. It's easy enough if you all So as you all kind of wind out the meal, kind of get that plan nailed into place, and then split up to go about your various works, make your preparations, or just enjoy your day the rest of the afternoon. Let's see here. Is there anything Helena would do after that? Like once you all are done eating and the group kind of breaks up, is there anything else she's interested in doing in the square?
I mean, I think she's pretty good. I think she's gung ho now, ready to assist. Maybe, I mean, perhaps if we can replicate more of those traps, and if we can implement those, that would be pretty cool. Since she got the seal of approval.
Yeah, you certainly could. I mean, the blacksmiths and his assistants are all pretty busy, but of course you could probably talk Clifford into it.
Clifford will help out. The three of them can work with Goblin. Yeah.
What about some wharf rats? Like work with the Goblin. She's just gonna pull like whoever's available, scrap together as she does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there are a double handful of lesser lords and ladies that you all saved from the docks, who really don't have anything to do, but they don't have a lot of skills that are useful in this situation, and somebody, would probably be good if somebody took them in hand and put them to work, got them to work up some calluses.
Sounds perfect.
All right, so you find several of them. They're mostly sort of sitting around at the Mistfield Square Eatery. Some of them are down at the booksellers and scrivener's shop, and then some of them at the tavern. Like I said, the largest group, though, is at the eatery, still taking a long lunch. So how do you approach them? What does Helena say to these members of the court?
Members of the court. Mm-hmm. That threw me off. What?
Well, they're just lesser nobles, lords and ladies. That's really the only.
And I'm trying to
have.
And I'm trying because I'm on the traps. Am I trying to get them to help with the traps?
Yeah, just you're trying to get them to help make stuff.
That'd be pretty funny to get that snobby lady to work in the trap making place next to a goblin.
Okay. Lords and ladies, I have a redemption task for you all, since none of you really know what it means to contribute to a cause or society. You can get a hands-on initiative and be fancy just like me at the same time. So who's in for it?
At the first words, eyes go wide and then narrow. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's good.
Eyes go wide and quickly start to narrow. Hands reach up to clutch pearls that aren't there. Or, and people kind of push themselves to a standing position and put their hands on their fists. They're all bristling with indignance in that cloud of stale perfume.
Look. If you're judging me now, think about how hard the rest of the town will judge you if you don't now.
Now, see here, says an older man. I'll not be spoken to like that by some street rat. Who do you think you are? may dress yourself up in silks, but I'm somebody.
You may be somebody, but you are not Queen of the Rats like me. So, show some due respect. I'm merciful. I'll let it slide for now. But I assure you, this is a grand opportunity to improve your standing reputation amongst my people.
Now, you apologize to these young nobles here. You can make a persuasion or an intimidation check.
What am I apologizing for? Let's do persuasion.
Okay.
9. Wait. 11.
You're apologizing
my-
for speaking to people above your station in such an unacceptable manner.
How? I'm truly confused. Apparently you haven't heard. I've seen multiple occasions. It's different now. No one cares what you think. But they will if you come help. Come be a valued member of society.
This man continues to sort of posture and, just bristling and continuing to demand an apology. You see a couple of handmaidens and a young lord sort of very strongly considering your words.
See, there's some outstanding citizens over there. Don't think about it, do it. It's fun, I assure you. In a deep way.
You're not considering sullying your hands, so are you? They don't say anything.
Well, he may sully his hands if that helps.
Yeah, he kind of clamps his mouth shut and just stares at you and watches as first 3 and then 4 and then 5, everybody but him sort of starts to get up. Obviously, they finished their meal some time ago. The young noble, sort of very pale skin, very dark hair, long and braided back. He has a sort of swaggering air about him. Well, Queen of the Rats, I'm Podwin. I'll be happy to help however I can. I can't say I've ever made traps before, but shouldn't be hard to figure out.
Well, we have a great translator and creator working with us, and thank you. It is an honor and a pleasure. You will now be revered throughout the town, and I'll show you the way once we all gather up and your choices.
The older man is left fuming in his place, or where he stands, as the others kind of ignoring him turn to follow you over to the smithy. And Podwin mentions that he's heard some of the stories about some of the things that you've done, and that in the cases of both defenses of the square, people are quite curious about you. You're regarded rather well, actually. Not that Karath would notice. He's the only person he's really spoken with is Matron Evra. And honestly, I've never had much use for her. Not truly a member of the court, and her family doesn't. Well, they're not honest dealers, as it's said.
I could kind of smell that one out.
Bet you can. Bet you have a nose for all sorts of trouble.
I seem to.
Well, I'm glad you're putting it to good use.
That's what I'm trying to do. Thank you for doing the same.
Well, what you said back there was true. Everything's changed now. Stone killed all of our leaders, at least all that we've seen. And, well, y'all are what stepped up to create some sort of order for us. And I appreciate it. And the others do too. Karath does, but he couldn't say it. As does Lady Evra. Again, they'll never say it, but they know. Hope that's enough.
It's more than enough. It's a comfort to know that others into the collective zeitgeist. Thank you.
I do, myself, he kind of looks back and forth, do hope to maintain some sort of position. And the other thing you said was true as well. Those who serve the people now will be recognized for it. So there's two reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing.
No shame. I'm with you, brother.
Thought you might understand. So as you all can see, because Pon just stands up from the table with all of you and turns to another table full of people and just starts badgering the nobles into getting up and going to work with her. So she wanders out. Karath sort of sits back down heavily and just kind of stares at the table for several moments and slowly kind of drinks a mug of ale and looks out the windows. What does Lokak do during this, or because of this, or otherwise after the meal is over?
I think Lokag is, seeing everything in hand. He had a moment where he was about to step up behind Helena and stare daggers at this guy, but she quickly kind of shut him down, and he's just kind of like, yeah, heck yeah. And so he's like, all right, she's got this, and he grabs another bite to eat, and because he's just constantly eating, and
He earned it.
He's gonna walk out, back out into the square, and he's just gonna go chat with some guards and ask them how it's been. And I think his main focus for the rest of the we're kind of on into the afternoon now, right?
Yeah, early afternoon probably.
I think his main focus is gonna be talking with some of the, maybe not necessarily town guards, but some of the citizens that have been brought up into the militia, and doing another training session with them, how to hold the spear, and kind of trying to help them learn how to defend the square a little bit better. That's his main focus.
Fantastic.
Is helping to train the soldiers.
Okay. So as you mentioned this, and Pell is off duty, so Pell's like, I'd like to join you, sir. Be sort of second teacher, do some of the grunt work for you, and keep my skills sharp too.
Yeah, Lokag, come on, the more the merrier.
Not sure I'll ever move like you do, but even if just some of that skill rubs off, we'll all be better for it, I think.
Damn. So at this point, Lokag will set his glamour down and pick up a normal spear to kind of demonstrate and hold, and he'll probably use quarterstaves for sparring matches between people, giving advice, and he'll spend the rest of the afternoon sort of training people who aren't actively on guard duty.
Fantastic. So you've got the 8 dock workers who you gave them shields, chain shirts, and crossbows that you got from the hobgoblins. And they don't really, know how to use the shield and how to move in the armor. So you realize pretty quick that, before you teach them how to, because they can fire the crossbow all right. They seem to have fired one before. You teach them quicker ways to reload it. But once you get into the spear work, you realize that you really need to teach them how to use the shield and how to balance their weight and how to wear the armor, how to get used to that.
I'm going to start talking to them about how to form a shield wall, and I'm going to say, do your best, and just get them to line up and try their best. And then Lokag's going to smile, and he's just going to kick the middle shield as hard as he can on the shield wall and just kind of point out, see, this is why you fell, and this is he's just going to bust through the shield wall of these people.
Yeah, so they're overlapped, like this. So you kick one shield, and everything to the left of that, all of them fall down.
Domino.
Yeah, just one shield slams up against the other, and they all kind of tangle each other in their feet and go ass over tea kettle because they're not used to the weight on their chests and shoulders.
He's going to start showing them how to transfer force from like planting their feet and using the ground to leverage themselves up and like brace against impacts. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Pel's kind of behind you, sort of not repeating exactly what you say, but kind of, giving them familiar phrases or rephrasing it a little bit, and he'll kind of step out and he squares off as your sparring partner when you go to spar with everybody, and he's just kind of as close to you as he can be. And what he says to that, in terms of wearing armor and the shield, is sink down with it, just let it kind of bend your knees, and kind of reiterating what you're saying in a different way.
Yeah.
But even
So
some of
he'll be working on that.
even some of the normal guards, they come because it's you doing the lessons and the drills and such. So, yeah. It is a very full, you take the whole southern part of the square and drill and practice. So as Helena has absconded with 5 nobles to put them to work making goblin traps, and Lokag has drawn in a bunch of your new guards and is training them. What does Millie focus on for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I think Millie's already kind of done everything I feel like she needs to.
Okay. So likely after talking to everybody, you check back in with the apothecary and just kind of cement all the orders and stuff, at least. I think I cut you off there. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're all good. I guess maybe I'm losing track of kind of date and time of when we got back and all that.
Yeah, it's just been, you got back this morning and you've kind of gone through lunch.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I guess when we got back, did all that, ate. Yeah, I think she probably goes to sleep pretty early. Like, she went down like 6 times in that combat.
Yeah. Well, your room.
Like, I might have full health from just being able to short rest and heal up, but and level up. But yeah, that was a crazy combat. Yeah, I think after kind of checking in, getting the order kind of finalized, I think she will go to the inn and find Baba Bruin and just what can you tell me about this noble woman who's digging into people's nonsense here?
Oh, you must mean Evra.
Sure.
Well, her family traded in this and that, silks, booze, food, but mostly, I think, information. Kind of looks around to see if she's anywhere nearby. She isn't. Seems to know a lot. People would otherwise not like her to know. Seems, I use it to her advantage, you know. He kind of looks away for a moment, and you get the sense that, you know, based on the conversation they had, her sort of dressing him down, that she knows something about him, but he doesn't mention it. Why do you ask?
It seems like she might be trying to cause trouble around here. Just keep an eye on her. Don't let her get under people's skins.
I do my best all the time to keep morale up everywhere I go, you know. But Lady Evram, Evra, she is a... Well, she was a powerful force before the stone fell. And she's not forgotten anything. No, she hasn't. Not sure what I could do aside from try to ply her with mead.
Perhaps you have a task that could keep her busy. Keep her mind occupied?
Ooh. Oh, well. Oh, I know she's fond of... No, not fond of. I was gonna say she's fond of children, but it's not. She's not fond of. She's I think she was going to be a teacher, but she was too mean to the kids, so they wouldn't let her. But I don't think she ever got over that disappointment. Keeps looking out the window to see if she's walking, or just appears. He seems pretty nervous about her. Perhaps I could talk to some of the others and get some lessons going and maybe put her in a figurehead position. Although, it's like asking me to tussle with a boar, But I'd do anything for you, Millie. I owe you more than that.
Well, perhaps toss the idea around with a few others of ways to keep her busy.
All right.
Keep her from getting too much like she thinks she needs to run and own this place.
Well, I don't think anything's gonna keep her from... He looks out the window again, thinking she should run the place, but perhaps if we can convince her that she already does. Because I wouldn't know how to do that without actually letting her run everything, so I'll leave that kind of thing.
That one doesn't sound too ideal either.
Always been better at lifting kegs and drinking and getting others to drink than doing the deep thinking. But I'll talk to
keep
some
her
others.
drinking, Baba. Yes, if there's anyone who has any ideas, this school thing, I don't really understand it. Perhaps it has merit.
Well, she does think she can sing. Bless me, I hate to say this, but I could tell her that, we need her to sing. Oh, God's help me. If we weren't at war and I didn't owe you everything, I'd never say that. But even if I have to stab both me ears out, it's worth it.
I will find you some strong wax to put in your ears if you can keep her distracted, offering her a stinging place in the tavern.
Oh, that sounds worse when you say it out loud. Oh, when I hear it said back to me, it's awful. But it couldn't be more awful than going into that stone full of goblins, so yeah, I'll do it. He shakes his head, drains a mug that was kind of sitting nearby. Immediately fills it back up and drains it again. So as you leave Baba Brune sort of dealing with the weight of his decision and his offer, is there anybody else you check in with or anything else that
No, I
you
think
do?
she just wanders back up to the rooms.
All right. So as you set yourself down,
Like, I'm glad we're not going to be here to hear this woman sing.
So as you go to turn your bed down and sort of fall into that space right in between being asleep and being awake, There's a warm but strong voice that just sounds like it's at a distance but off behind your shoulder. Millicent. Millicent, Millicent. Millicent the militant. Millicent the maker. The shaper of folks. The binder of people. You are my hearth maker, my hearth keeper, my dream speaker, and my dream singer. Tomorrow is a new day. You will come close to the shrine again. You bring one of the relics, and this is good. This is good. If you go to fight the goblin wizards, they use fire and poison and acid. Your apothecary has many herbs that can help with this. The goblins are given a kind of poison in the stone. It gives a scent to them of metal and milk. A strong enough antitoxin could purge it from their systems. It might swoon them or put them into a deep sleep for a time. But it shouldn't harm them otherwise. Do not deal with the hag. Any deal she makes will turn back on you. Kill her if you can. Do what the Tuatha De Danann were too prideful to do. We kept her as a trophy, but she will smash many hearths, and many will never be built. She curdles even iron. Beware shadow and blindness if you enter the goblin shrine. It is protected by secret ways and hidden defenders. There is a shadow shaper there. She is the Iron Fist, which rules the priesthood. She is the Iron Fist, the priesthood, which rules the Goblin Stone from beneath, while the masters shape its destiny from above. They would open a portal to another realm where great harm and calamity could come through. If you can, throw Aga in my sacred flame. You will be amused. Rest well, my dear Millicent. Sleep well. And the voice fades. What about X? As you perhaps, you stepped away earlier from the meal, stepped away from everybody else. Is there anything else that you would want to focus on?
Nope. X is going to be sleeping outside again. I took watch on the roof the other night. I think I'll just hang up there and meditate and leave whatever space is needed for the rest of the group in the room. X is used to roughing it. I mean, like, really roughing it. Like, sleeping in a burlap sack while it's raining on his head, right? So he just does not care. So he just go out and find a spot to meditate. And he's, he likes people. He likes the group. But I think X just needs a little alone time for the rest of the day and night.
Fair. Well, if you don't mind, give me a perception check and a stealth check. As you slip away, trying to find some spot, not necessarily trying to hide from everybody, but not wanting to be immediately targetable from any other nearby buildings, should any goblin snipers be awake. All right, so 28
Stealth
on
check
that.
28.
28. Nice. Perception check is
And 14 on perception.
okay. You can hear the distant screeching of young dragons up in the top of the stone. As the sky begins to darken, you lose sight of the heavy cloud cover that rolls in. You lose sight of the dragonlings above, but you can hear them. And the distant words you can't understand, just that someone is talking high up on the stone. Someone is training these dragons. What about Clifford? What else might he be doing for the rest of the afternoon into the evening?
I think he'd start off with helping out with the people, that are starting to make traps and just get them all set up with tools. Secure all of his stuff so no one messes with his layout, because hopefully he has his own little room for that, or at least a lockbox. And then he'd like to kind of just be around the town and, take assessment, make sure everyone's doing all right, and ultimately end up at the bar, maybe play some poker, hang out with people, just sort of be in touch with everyone, and just that's kind of where he's at right now.
Nice.
So he'll have a few drinks. Thanks, Baba Brune, for everything.
You manage to convince some of the nobles, and maybe even Helena, to go to Baba Brune's with you.
All right, want to play some cards?
Oh, do I? After a day of trying to get no work, I deserve it.
Yeah, well, buy-in's 3 silver. He'll start throwing coins on the table and try to get stuff going.
Chump change for the Queen of Rats.
Yeah, well, it's just for fun. It's for charity, right?
Yeah.
Podman throws in some coins. We weren't that bad, says Podman. Once we got working, after all, right? You gave those rousing speeches and made Kareth furious. Kareth, who's in the room over in the corner. But he nods and raises his glass to Kareth. You all begin to play some cards and drink a bit of mead. You all haven't seen X for a few hours at this point. Millie, you all see Millie pass as she goes upstairs to the inn to crash out. And Lokag kind of is working these drills, basically working your new square guard into the evening. Just works them up into a lather and beyond that. Not quite to exhaustion, but to the point where they think they're exhausted. At some point, Pell stumbles in, probably talks Lokag into joining him at the inn, or at the pub, because he saw Clifford and Helena. What do you think, Lokag? Time for a drink?
Oh yes. I got something special. And so Lokag is gonna take Pell and grab him, take his big meaty arm around his shoulder and drag him on into the pub. Gotta find, people chatting quietly, and I guess were the people who are singing, are they at the pub or were they elsewhere?
So no one's quite singing yet, but that was going to be at the pub, yeah.
Okay, great. So Lokag, seeing the pub being very, kind of more calm and just people tired, maybe even some somber about their situation, he's going to walk up to Baba Brune and he's going to say, hey, buddy, I got some special delivery for you. And take some of the cask of the big whiskey that he got from the ship.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to place that down. And he's going to go, here you go, for all the drinks I've stolen from you over the years from those arm wrestling matches.
Ah, Lokag, what took you so damn long? And what is this now? It was stolen? What? I let you win. We both know I let you win. What,
And
He kind of, because you've punched a hole in the side of this barrel, right? So he's like kind of looks how he's gonna try to pour it in, and finally he just goes and grabs a ladle and starts ladling it out into cups.
And Lokag will pull him aside, and he'll pull up his bag and start pulling out those nice wine bottles he got out of the chest. And he's gonna go, here, put these are for you, buddy.
Ooh. Yes, you're damn right they are. He takes them and kind of sweeps them off the table and puts them behind the bar. For me to share as I see fit.
Darn right. And he'll pull out the last one, which just happens to be, it's just randomly the most expensive one. And just with his thumb pops the cork and just starts drinking out of the bottle. And Lokag is absolutely intending to turn this pub into a full-blown party. Seeing Clifford and Helena, he's going to come over, look at their very intense betting card game, and just slam the bottle down on the table and mess up the cards and just, come on, let's drink. And so he's going to insist on music and singing, and he's going to start, telling a story and just bringing up just big vibes. Everyone knows he's there now, for sure.
Cliff takes advantage of the distraction and does a little sleight of hand and moves some cards around. Wipe an ace out of the pocket.
I was gonna say, who takes advantage of the chaos? I thought someone was gonna rearrange the bets and the coins.
Yeah.
So as you pull out these bottles, some of the nobles playing cards like recognize the label on there, and their eyebrows sort of rise. And when you pull out the last bottle, you pop the cork with your thumb. They kind of lean forward excitedly, and then you begin to drink from the bottle, and they just kind of make this horrified face, like, how could you treat that? And they just, Ponlin starts to say something, but he just looks at you, just down in this bottle of. Very well. So yeah, soon, you just get a chant going with some of the folks, and Baba Brune, one that he knows, he begins singing along as well, pouring drinks of this very good whiskey, and of course his very sweet and kind of spicy mead to wash it down with. And now there's some fresh baked bread from the barrels of wheat and stuff that you all brought in. So yeah, there's card game going. Some dice begin to roll. At some point, the bristling and arrogant Karath joins in and begins singing. He finds himself next to Helena at some point. And if you make eye contact at all, the older noble who was, speaking indignantly at you, he just gives you a sort of the bare. He kind of looks at you and just the barest hint of a nod, and but he makes sure it's kind of quick and short enough that really nobody else sees it, but you. Karath's maybe sign of approval or acceptance or whatever it is, and he toasts you or offers to clink your glass against his.
Well, for once, she does this nonchalantly.
This seems to satisfy his honor, not wanting to be seen backing down, but clearly you are who you say you are. There's a lot of people who are sort of arrayed around you and Clifford and Lokag. But soon a flute and a zither and a drum begin to play near, just outside the door. And you all, for a few moments, you can kind of hear them warming up and getting in tune, and you start to kind of get excited. For some reason, Baba Brune has a mournful expression on his face. And he's sort of, kind of cleaning up, mixing some more drinks. He keeps looking at the musicians, sort of getting ready, and he's just shaking his head. He just has this sort of hangdog look on his face. And soon there is the most horrendous caterwauling, screeching sound. The voice breaks, but even through that terrible vocal quality, it's thick with a sort of contrivance and arrogance as you hear matron Evra begin to sing. It's a kind of a stately, stuffy, badly sung version of what's ordinarily a very jaunty and very simple and very silly tavern song. And she is making it like the worst, slowest court music possible. The musicians keep kind of slowing down to find her pace, and then she'll kind of
Can I
pick the pace
cast
back up.
silence? Can Clifford has silence as a spell?
Yeah, you totally can.
I do it. It's kind of like a flashbang, but it's a sound thing. So he sort of rolls it under the table, and the area is silenced around her for the moment. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to slide it in there.
There is visible relief unilaterally from every patron in the tavern, and Baba Brund looks around. Whoever that was, thank you. Oh, thank you. And
Clifford begins to try to sing as best he can, like maybe try to get the crowd to sing along and kind of all together do the song the right way as best they can, and hopefully someone knows the right way to do it and let them kind of pick it up. Cliff ain't much of a performer, but he could try.
Right, but yeah, so like a lot of like the sort of known tavern songs, they'll be slightly different lyrics or a different refrain or a longer refrain or a shorter part in different parts of the world or this or that. So you kind of slowly start to sync up with some of the nobles and, with Lokag and with Helena, whoever else might be.
Pretend you know the words, like
mouth certain parts. This certain hook, everybody knows the chorus kind of thing.
Right.
And so as your two holy ones are elsewhere, resting, meditating, sleeping, and the three of you are together in the tavern, bringing folks together and making quite a ruckus. I think this is a good spot to pause our session for the evening. Take a few moments and maybe check in with chat and check in with each other. But yeah, I after all the action and this has been a really fun session to just kind of get into some of the characters and stuff that you all want to do. And as a dungeon master in these scenarios, I really, I don't mean to lean on it too much, and you all kind of push back if I do, but sort of like what you do with the resources you have it's a really fun thing, I think, for me as a GM, because it's like it's an opportunity for you all to be kind of creative, and there's different things you can do with the stuff that you have, and you can convince me of stuff, and so it's one of those sort of loose, kind of fluid parts in a campaign as I run them. So like this is really fun to see what you all want to do with everything. What about you, Lokag? Any thoughts on the session?
Yeah, it was a very nice, get back to the square, get some rest. After that harrowing battle, is good to, kind of see what we're fighting for again, and bring all the new people into the fold, and get my glamour. I'm very excited to use it and see it in action. So
I can't wait. I'm excited for it too. It's gonna be good. Y'all got a bunch of new gear and some new abilities for your level. If you haven't clicked that long rest, go ahead and do that now.
All right.
I'm excited for when y'all come back into the stone. Well, Ponpon, how about you? Any thoughts for you on the session?
Oh, this was a blast for me. I barely could keep it together during about that midpoint for me with the trying to rally the nobles. They don't even know it's a goblin they're going to be working with. That just, you don't usually crack yourself up that hard. I'm like, what am I doing right now?
You're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Helena just takes over my brain. It's just a blast, and I also feel like we made some good moves with setup for what we're doing next, and everything with the flame, and just gear, and so I don't know. It was like productive but lighthearted, and that was nice.
Heck yeah. Nice, well said. X, how about you, Locator? Any thoughts for you on the night?
Yeah, it's I think X is I don't know, it's hard because X really isn't the town person, right? He's not the guy who wants to hang around town. He's religious. He wants to do meditation and prayer and work on his tattoos and stuff. So I was kind of quiet tonight, I guess, on X, but I think that's I think he is maybe the introvert of the group when it comes right down to it. So yeah, kind of keep him separate and doing his own thing. So, but it was it's always interesting in these little character building moments to see what other people do when they interact with the town. And DM, man, I gotta give you credit. You come up with just like all of this storytelling stuff just off the cuff, and it's really good. I always appreciate playing with you, man. You're so creative. I love it.
Dude, thank you. Some of it's off the cuff, some of it's written, some of it's playing off of you guys. So yeah, helps to have good players. So thanks. Let's see, Clifford, how about you? Any thoughts for you on the night?
Yeah, a lot of what everyone else was saying. It was really nice to just kind of have a low key, like no, like low stakes activity with a lot of just really creative. Like I was just thinking how cool it would be to have more gadgets and items to throw around and just getting bombs and all sorts of elemental stuff. And I really enjoyed just that and bringing in all the town and sort of getting everyone helping out and really the sense of there being a real community here, like this town square is sort of like the folks plaza, just the place where people are people, and it's what it's what being human's all about. It's nice. It's a nice example of a kind of ideal situation that's so hard to find and so difficult to maintain and keep hold of when the world around us is crashing down from space or wherever that rock came from. So yeah, it's nice to have a little respite.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Well said. A deeply meaningful set of phrases. Jay Fink, how about you?
Yeah, it was certainly after, as everyone said, the I don't know, 3 sessions of combat.
Yep.
Or whatever it was that we had. It was definitely a good break from that. And I gotta say, like, comparatively to a lot of campaigns, like having the downtime, having the ability, as you said, to kind of make use of our resources is amazing. It's and yet nuanced by the fact that I have chosen to play a character that would not fully appreciate having that ability. Just kind of like, damn it! What did I do to myself? So I'm trying to balance that, because it's like, there are times where I'm like, I would love to make use of every single little thing we ever found and have, and go off and spend time trying to think of like every single item we can make, but that's not this character.
Fair.
And then there's just a lot of stuff and that we found, and my brain's just reeling from all the potential. Slightly overwhelmed by it, to be honest. Like, I don't know all the things we can make. I don't know. I don't know what we need. I think that might also just be a challenging part. It's kind of like we've gone to the stone twice, and it was so drastically different feeling both times. Well, kind of 3 times, but twice as these characters, and it's kind of drastically different both times. So I'm very curious to see what our next time going in, especially now at level 5, how this is going to feel, because these last 2 times have both felt very dangerous, very kind of frightening to go in there. And so, we're saying like, oh, we're just going to go in and come back out. We're just going to go in and take stuff. We're just going to go in and do all this stuff. It's never been this simple.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see where our choices get us.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well.
Heck
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy talking with all the NPCs, and I'm gonna have to find Baba Broom something worthwhile for his unfortunate ears.
That was awesome, and that was really well handled, Clifford. That was amazing. Well, Mythlanders in the party and in chat, thanks for another awesome Monday. You all take good care of yourselves and your people. Get some rest. Get out there and play your story. I'm going to drop another link for our Discord for anybody who wants to join us and to give my players bad ideas or good ideas, depending on how you look at it. And we are going to raid out to TTRPG Academy. They've got they're playing in person and have some terrain, so that's like almost like the olden days, so that's fun. But again, thanks for an awesome session, Mythlanders. Be good to yourselves, and we'll see you next week. Say goodnight, Mythlanders.
Good night.
Night.